So if everybody's ready. So our ICIP, what is it? The Infrastructure Capital Improvements Plan. So we do have an agenda that we're gonna kind of follow, and we can jump around a little bit if need be. And I have left some areas for questions. I do expect questions, so please do ask. And if I go too fast in my explanations, please stop me, please let me know. And we do have a little bit of uh, kind of not an issue, but our original ICIP website that we do everything on, it has been shut down for the state because they are making the new one, but we have not been given the new one yet. So I was going to follow along and, try to help everybody understand that process, but that's not there anymore. So we're gonna go with what we have. Okay, so Chris, if you could bring up my slideshow, please. And this is very short. I didn't want to give anything too long of an explanation. So ICIP, okay. Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan. It's a planning tool. And it is for establishing the process, including citizen participation, which is going to be our third meeting that we do. We will have citizen participation in there. But this is to formulate mission goals, objectives, review existing plans and regulations, analyze factors affecting our future. So whenever we are looking at the projects that we're wanting to do, we want to look at the future. How is this going to affect our future? We want to also look at our inventory, note what is needed, what needs to be upgraded, but we have to look at all of that with our future because this is actually 2027 through 2031, this ICIP period. We want to identify the projects. And we want to obtain cost and tech options. So Kelly has gotten a couple of quotes already. And what we can do with these is whenever they have the new website, we will go ahead and we will submit these with her projects. So that way they can see why it is that she has her numbers and how she has them. So that's the obtaining the cost. We can't just kind of pull a number out of the air and just say, okay, well, it looks like it's going to be this. We need to have an actual reasoning behind all of it. And then we need to prioritize the projects. What is most important for the city looking at our future? Because it isn't going to be immediate. And if we don't get number one and we do get number two, is that still going to be really important? And what's come down the line is that it's not even so much the top 10 anymore, it's more the top 3 that the governor is going to be looking at. But I mean, top 10, they're still very important. Analyze capacity, identify funding needs. Then we draft the ICIP and we kind of go from there. And then we submit, and our submission date is October 3rd. That's our final. And then DFA makes it public. So whoever wants to start looking it up can see our public ICIP after October 3rd.
From a vendor point of view?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Or any
Or just the
citizen,
But
public.
specifically, maybe vendors look at it, see if they want
They could.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I didn't think about that in perspective from people looking for,
or possible projects.
to lean forward to get that kind of business, but I think it's public for anybody to look.
More just for the general public.
Yeah, what our priorities are and so on.
Because it seems like sometimes our number of vendors is pretty limited. So I was just wondering if that was a way we could reach more vendors. I don't know.
What do you mean by limited?
Well, I mean, there's only a certain number of people that we would use for streets. There's only a certain number, I mean, it's just very small. lists for different things to me, from what I've seen.
Mhm.
So I just wondering how we could widen our,
So whenever we have like our
Yes,
contractors and whatnot come out, is that what you mean?
Yeah,
For
yeah,
working on our
correct,
streets?
yeah.
Okay, so.
And I know that's not part of this, but you
Oh,
know,
it's okay. Whenever we do, and Steve, please stop me if I'm incorrect or I'm stating something wrong. But whenever we do our streets and that type of thing, if we put out an RFP, then whomever sees that solicitation, and a solicitation means that our request for proposals or our procurement process that we choose, because you could do many different types, but they are requesting proposals or quotes. Um, requests for bids to come in. And those go out in the newspaper, they go out on our website, and vendors do know where to look for those at. And so they can look at that and then they answer with a proposal. And inside that format, they can look and see if their company fits our criteria that we're looking for at that project time.
Gotcha.
And so if they fit that criteria, then we can put them through the process of procurement.
sorry.
Otherwise, we also have on-call contractors and whatnot
Mhm.
that we'll use. Okay, whenever it comes to doing the ICIP, I've been asked about legislative language before. Does everybody understand legislative language?
I would
No.
say that's a fat no across the board.
Yeah.
Except for certain, not even legislators, I would argue, they don't really understand it sometimes.
Okay.
Attorneys taking a stab and explaining it will never be wrong, so
Okay.
say watch it. Got
So what you want to do, there's a form, well, was a form that looks similar to this. I don't know what it looks like now, but it looks similar to this. And in the, not bottom, but the next to bottom square, you would put legislative language in there and it would say, to plan, design, construct, reconstruct, and in that you would put all of your legislative language. And it doesn't make an actual grammatical sentence. But what you're doing is you're putting in what you plan to do. And that is the language that you'll see on award paperwork. So when y'all are signing the awards for capital outlay or for LGRF, those types of awards, it will put in there that you have been awarded this amount of money to plan, design, develop, construct, reconstruct, construction management, that type of thing. And where at. It's not the full scope of work, but it is a summary of.
Yeah.
And that is the legislative language. Do you have any questions on it? Okay. Oh, and it will always end with, in the city of Portales, New Mexico, in Roosevelt County. Oh, okay. So the first sentence, enter the information requested. Enter information for only one project. So this has also been asked about. When you have lots of phases in one project, you don't break up the phases. Well, you do in one project, but you don't break it up into separate projects. So you have plan and design, and that's in the same project as construction for the same project.
That's why we have over years.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I believe that I said that backwards, but I think, did I make that understandable?
Okay, we get what you mean.
Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so the scope of work actually has a lot more description in it. So in this, you are going to talk about where it is that your project is going to be. what is it connected to? How does it help? Why did you pick it? But it can't be like a 2-page long memoir. It has to be pretty small, but at the same time descriptive as to what. So does anybody want to explain what their scope of work would look like for something that they have going on as an example?
I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory as far as it just depends on the project and what's needed to accomplish that
Yeah, right.
project. Whether that's a street or a water project, or piece of fire equipment.
And a lot of what we've historically had on there is on there because if it's not on our ICIP, we don't qualify for grants.
Right.
So it's not necessarily, I mean, you could put, like, we try to get a mobile command center, so we try to get one of the big RV looking things, but we don't expect it to come out of ICIP, so it could be the very last thing on our list.
You just
It
want
have
it
to be
on there.
so we can qualify for the grant
Right.
as well. So.
And that took a while for me to understand, but I got that now. I knew that, yeah, so.
Okay.
That helps.
So that's kind of the gist of the ICIP because, and what they're saying also, like in the grant, it literally will ask you, is this on your ICIP plan?
Right.
And one of the reasons is because it has the public input.
Mhm.
So they know that the
They know
public,
you've been asking for it. You didn't
Yeah.
just out of the blue go.
and the
"Hey,
public is good with it and they understand and they say, yeah, we need that.
Cool.
Are there any questions on the ICIP process?
I have one for clarity.
Okay,
So when you talked about earlier, and I'm not sharpshooting you, I want to understand, and I think
Mhm.
that I think I know the answer, but I'm not sure. So when we have a proposed project that we're gonna put in the ICIP with a cost estimate based on the input from vendors or whatnot, or a planning tool designed to get the total cost. I'm looking in here on ICIP description, I'm looking here, and it talks about breaking a program into phases.
mhm.
But you are or you're not allowed to break the program. Those phases, are they standalone phases, each having their own cost? Or is it one cost because you're not allowed to break down the project into sub-projects?
It's a standalone project with broken down phases inside of one project.
Okay, so if you
When
have
you submit it, I just want to make sure I understood.
You're
When you
talking about
submit
just
it, you
submitting.
have it broke down
into phases,
into phases?
Yes, and so our ICIP will show that we have one project. And the one project will have multiple phases.
okay, scope of work by definition says you have to break it into phases.
Yes,
So we're clear on that part,
Yeah.
but those
Phase
phases
construction.
don't have separate budgets. It's one budget from cradle to grave on the project.
they can
Yes, sir.
have, they do have separate budgets.
Okay,
In one project. Because what it will look like is a spreadsheet.
okay,
And you will say phase 1. Title at the top of the spreadsheet, phase 1. And you will have your budget that goes down like this, that will be like design, plan, engineer cost.
okay,
Okay, and then phase 2 will be this line here, title at the top, phase 2.
okay.
And you're gonna have construction management, those type of things here. And then you'll have like a phase 3, which is going to be equip, install,
Got it.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
But all of that is within one project.
So maybe I'm getting the same place you are. So when the state looks at this project
Mm-hmm,
and they see you have it broke, let's say it's $100 million project.
mm-hmm,
And you have phase 1 broke down for 20 million, which is ridiculous, but that's the way this design stuff goes. 20 million,
Mhm.
yep,
yes.
okay. Are they looking down and go, okay, we'll fund that this year? But we know we've got to be able, do they have the foresight to say, we're not gonna start this and not give them this and this later? Or do they leave us hanging ever? I'm just curious.
Okay, so what they are gonna see is what we ask for in that year.
Okay,
So when I fill out for capital outlay, then that is why ICIP is separate from capital outlay. They're together, but they're separate. When I fill out for capital outlay, I will ask for a single phase.
Okay.
Which is why whenever you hear everybody say you can't ask for 100 million.
Right, no, that part I get.
Okay, so then that's where I get the amount that I ask for. I'm asking for a single phase. The single phase that it is that we will be doing, hitting the ground running. They want to know that you are quote unquote shovel ready.
Yeah.
And so you ask for that
Yeah.
phase and they can see that phase. And then they say, okay, we have this amount of money to give out. We can't give them all the money for that phase, but we can give them this much money for the phase. And hopefully they can get other monies in order to complete it.
So, and I relay that to the U project.
Okay.
If the federal government next year decides they're not funding that anymore, we've spent what, how many million are we into that?
Ooh, I don't
12,
even know. That's a
13 million?
lot.
And it's just dead. Right? So that's what I worry about with the state projects. We have something that's gonna be over 6 years.
Mhm.
They give us plan and design. And then we come to construction, they go, oh, we don't have any money for you. Well, what, we just wasted 20 million, we could have done something else. I guess that's what I'm asking is how often do they leave us hanging
Hanging.
once we've started something?
Well, and they've,
And which areas do they do that the most, so we avoid them, you know what I mean? That's why spend a lot of money up front on plan and design for,
uh-huh.
like Steve, I don't know if it's you, but let's say roads, we spend a lot of money plan and design. And then they never give you the money to do the project.
Mhm.
I don't, that's the frustration
I know where you're going with that. The plan and design, I think we're all okay with. Because that keeps us in a shovel-ready status.
Right.
And I'm following your argument, and I believe once that shovel hits the dirt and you go into phase two, one being A&E, two being we're turning dirt, that's when we're really extended now.
Right.
We've assumed risk, we've broken ground, we have to put a chain link fence around construction, and it remains looking unfinished. A&E, I think we're all okay with. Not to suppress your argument, I think you're exactly on it, but we're really at risk when we get into phase 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that we definitely need to clear that up to understand that we can do that. And there's no legal, moral, ethical objection to breaking a project down into sub parts that we can get money to. Because there are laws in many cases about breaking a very expensive total project down into small phases to prohibit exactly what you're saying. So I just want to make sure that what we're asking is what we're saying, so we don't go down that road, because I've already received a little bit of pressure, not in a bad way. But specifically with ICIP, I've been given some direction saying these ICIP projects in many cases are too expensive. We need to break them down into smaller ones. Does that mean big project into smaller pieces and try to pay for them? And if that's legal and we can do it, and minimize our exposure, that's okay. Or does that mean take the big projects, let's look for another funding stream to do that, and let's get smaller projects put in the ICIP. I need to understand that clearly. We don't have to answer that today. We need to get that answered as we go forward.
Well, and one thing that is said about ICIP is that this is like I said, this is a planning tool.
Yep.
The money for capital outlay is a last resort. So you have expended all efforts on other funding opportunities.
So you have to get a no in ICIP. You almost have
You have to get a no to your project elsewhere, kind of thing.
Right, but not an ICIP because that's the planning tool, but you do have to get no in other entities. So NMGD, MNERD, Water Trust Board,
Right.
you would have to get no.
Try to use all those other resources first before you get to capital.
So it would help in the priority planning as far as capital outlay.
Right, we'll say, hey, they've tried all the.
We
avenues.
tried
Yeah.
this, we tried this, we tried this, and
Right.
therefore we're seeking capital outlay for this project.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So just before we go forward, so a conversation I had with the mayor last week. About a mental framework for all of us as we go forward. Oftentimes an argument is we don't have money for that.
Mhm.
what I'd like to start doing as a staff and collectively is, let's not discuss money as a limiter. What we have is we either have requirements or desirements. If it's a requirement and we've put on our ICIP with justification, we've put on dream sheets, we put on, based on public input, a requirement, this city needs this to be vibrant, viable, and stand the test of time. It's a requirement. Let us not discuss finances as a limiting factor, because a requirement is a requirement. If I need a kidney transplant, that's a requirement. I don't worry about the cost. I worry about an available kidney.
Yes.
And then I focus on that.
Mhm.
And the money generally will come, because my family will find, somebody will find either a headstone or a kidney. And the headstone's a desirement. So we focus on the kidney. Let us as a community focus not on monies available or not available, but on requirements and get those in there, and then let the chips fall where they fall, because we've done all our due diligence. And that's kind of where I want to go with the mental framework. But
Yeah.
like, that's just a side note. Thank you.
I like that.
So this big picture to smaller, let me kind of address this with what Steve's, because some of the ICIP had specific roads. This stretch of road
Yes,
only, and
yes,
then other places it said road improvements.
yes.
Now, I like road improvements, because that way we can decide, Steve can decide as a community where we want to spend the money, but
Mhm.
does that lessen our chance of getting it than the more specific? Why do we have them in the ICIP both ways?
Okay, so that is because they actually prefer it both. So they have said to be specific, but also be broad. Yes. So the
Would you
answer
like me to
is
stand on
yes.
my head and clap?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because they want to be able to pick either or.
Okay. So you're giving them options.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
I can understand.
Yeah, I think based on the framework, though, when it comes to a scope of work, that scope of work will have I mean, it says right in there, must have
Yeah.
the details
Right.
and the funding. So I think at the scope of work level, when Joe talked about legislative language, that's one thing. And then when the ICIP framework says scopes of work, the scope of work will umbrella with more detail under the legislative language, and it'll break out the legislative language. One thing I need to remind us all about is before the ICIP is a 1 to 3 year plan.
Ooh, ICIP is a 5-year.
5 year, and we have to submit every year or every 5 years?
Every year.
Every year, okay. So we're also required to have a 20-year comprehensive plan.
Mhm.
The major frameworks in the comprehensive plan are things like road improvement, right? So we come together and we have these major all-inclusive kind of rough order of magnitude descriptors. And then I would argue under that, that's when we get a little more definitive. So under road improvements would be the ICIP, and the comprehensive plan is the base document. The 1 and 5 year submissions and the touch-ups of the ICIP has to umbrella under that. And then we go down from there. Does that make sense? And then it all starts to come together. These aren't standalone documents. These are nested documents instead.
And the comprehensive, I think, has to be up to date with every 5.
It has to be reviewed every year, updated every 5 years, and it has to cover a 20-year span.
Okay. Any other questions?
Not yet.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and start with the fire department and your projects, chief, please.
So in the interest of time, I've got 4 projects that we've discussed in our department that we would like to see adjusted, 3 of which we really would like to see in this 2027 ballpark. The first priority would be upgrades at Station 1. That station is over 40 years old, needs plumbing, electrical, HVAC, exhaust system, heaters in the truck room, some remodeling. It needs a lot of work that Fire Fund just doesn't have the funding to support. So we would like to move it to 2027, item 3 or rank 3. It is in 2027, but as 21. So we would like to move it to the spot 3 in place of the bunker gear.
In place of what?
The bunker gear. We would like to move that to 2030. item 3, because we are applying for a grant and that'll come before the next council meeting. Before I move on, any questions about the needs for that?
We have another pin.
We're sharing a pen up here. What the fuck was that?
Okay, I've got the first one. Can you repeat the second one?
So we're just moving it in place of the bunker gear, which would be,
21 to 3.
Yeah.
Switching
And then-
places, is that where?
well, I would like to move the bunker gear all the way to 2030,
To 30.
to 2030, the year 2030.
2030. Bunker gear.
Because that way it's still on the ICIP and available for us to mark that box on a grant.
Right.
But at the same time, it makes room for the other 2 items that we also need.
What do you mean by bunker gear?
So our firefighting gear, helmets, gloves,
Just the regular
Nomex,
firefighting.
the base gear.
What's the lifespan?
10 years on the gear.
Yeah.
Yes, 10 years or till damaged.
Right.
And that's part of the issue that we're facing is a lot of our gear is,
Any extra on hand? Or
we have a few on hand and we just ordered 8 new sets. And bunker gear is very
I
expensive.
bet, yes.
And the grants for those are actually kind of difficult to get, because a lot of times they want your bunker gear to be, what was it, like 20 years old before they would actually consider you for the
Yeah.
grant.
Yeah.
So it's the fact that you found one. Congrats.
It's the fire protection grant that we received last year for the 600,000 that went towards our new engine. But that application will come at the next council meeting, so we can discuss that further at that time if you choose. The other 2 items is a wildland urban interface tender or type 1 wildland engine. It would be a 2,000 gallon pump and roll, be able to do structure protection, do a lot of different things. We would like to see it move to that 17 spot that the brush truck is in for 2027.
Is it on there currently?
It is on there currently, yes.
What's its number then?
So right now it is on the year 2030, item number 3. So it's swapping basically with the bunker gear.
Good.
And just going back to the upgrades, I'm at station 1, I still have to get with the construction company to get individual quotes for the different projects.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a very expensive ordeal. The anticipated cost of this tender that we're talking about is roughly 600,000. And that is listed in the ICIP. And then the last one that we'd like to see at item 21, where Station 1 upgrades is a storage barn just to the west of Station 2 that would be fully enclosed for all of our trailers, our hazmat trailer, command trailer, smokehouse for public education, so that we're no longer paying rent to house it. And it would also provide a place for us to do indoor training if the weather's unsuitable. And that one is already on there existing at, let me find it real quick. Storage barn, there it is. It's on 2029, item 5.
Move to.
Move to 2027, item 21. Rank 21. And that anticipated cost is 550,000. It's listed in the ICIP. And that's all the major changes that I have, and I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have them.
So is Station 2 open now?
We are doing our best. There have been many days it's had to been shut down because we were fully staffed, as I mentioned at council, for 13 days. And now we're not fully
So you're
staffed.
about to ramp up and really go down.
Yeah, we're doing our best, but we are having to close it.
So, I mean, the answer really is yes,
Yes.
but we.
When you have the staff.
Man, train equipment in those priorities, we're up, man. So we don't have a full staff. With a full staff, or when we increase firefighters, then it's ready to go, but the station is fully operated. So
I don't think I have any questions, just want to see where everything else falls.
Oh,
So,
understandable.
well, that's the name of the game, isn't it?
Yes.
So we get all at this point, I mean, these are city requirements. At this point in the firehouse, they're desirements. So as a city, we have to rank order these and decide what is more important at the time. They're all important, they're all equally important. But in terms of what do we see the city, where are we assuming more risk being all inclusive, we decide the number one, the number two, number three, and number four. As Joe said, though, the state might come back and let's say the firehouse regentrification is our number one, but it exceeds the state's ability to fund it immediately. We might be bumped down to our number 16 because 16 is number one in accordance with the monies available. Does that sound pretty close?
And depending on what the legislators' priorities are for that year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, their whole first input on the whole thing.
And when that lightning strikes, no pun intended because of the storms, but when that financial lightning strikes, we're equally happy across the board because all of these are requirements.
Right, we want them in
We
there.
just get that one off the list, which bumps everything up.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Chris, I don't know what I did, but I lost my list.
I think she's printing some.
And I have a list, but it doesn't have them ranked like 1 through 10 or 20 or 16 or whatever it is. I just have the actual project summary list that was sent by Joe.
Oh, the draft?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything else in my email. I just looked.
When we're looking at the list we're seeing starts with
Yeah.
2027. Is
It
that what
Twenty
we
twenty-seven is
should be
when.
looking at?
Yes, 2027 to 2031.
So it's 26 is already in the books?
Yes.
Yeah, we're operating on year
Okay.
through 2020
Okay.
to 2026.
Okay.
The work we're doing
Just wanna make sure I was
now
clear.
will be
Next.
registered in 2027.
Okay.
Right, so we're moving forward.
Gotcha, okay.
So is it safe to say by following?
I'm sorry.
Say again?
I just sent it to her work email.
She sent it to your work email.
Chris, we seem to have lost his. On where it went on the iPads.
I lost it, I was trying to scroll up and I was,
Yes.
I don't know what I did.
That's.
Switch.
Okay, Veronica, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Cordova. Can you see, are you looking at Portales project summary? The infrastructure capital improvement plan fiscal year 2020?
Yes. And then it says Portales project summary.
Okay, so if you look at ID, year, and then rank, can you see that part? That would.
Yes.
Okay, so that should show you the ranking of the one through however
Okay.
many.
I just wanted to make sure I was looking at the correct list and y'all didn't have something new.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am, you are looking at the correct list.
Okay, perfect.
Fire away, chief.
All right. Yeah, ours is pretty simple. We were awarded the evidence from expansion this year. So right now I'm just currently awaiting the response from the state as to the instructions to go forward on that. The rough plan we have would be to double our existing floor plan for our evidence room. Part of that came about when they had the red flag laws come into place where it says we basically have to turn into a museum for firearms that come in for certain things. Luckily, it hasn't happened to us so far, but that's good. So that one can come off though. And then the other two, really, we just need them on there for funding. The police vehicles, as we know, the city hasn't budgeted for vehicles for us, much like the fire department over the years. The only way we get them is previously the junior bill, now currently the grow funds, which we didn't get this year, but we need those on there. So just wherever they're on the list. And then it has on their police command trailer. What I'd like to do is just change that from trailer to a mobile command center. The cheap end on those is in excess of 250,000 that's on there. So I think 400,000 would get us a pretty basic one that would allow us to have the restroom facilities. And of course, this wouldn't be just for police, it would be for the entire city. So we have a water main break, we can get it over there to where they can get out of the elements, use the restroom instead of having to go off site to do it or things like that. Help keep everything there and work more efficiently.
Do you currently have a trailer?
We currently have a trailer. It is very dated. I believe we got it in 2004, 2005, but it didn't have facilities or anything in it. I mean, pretty much it's someplace to go sit inside of and get out of the rain and snow.
Is it more cost prohibitive to do the like a motorhome type versus a trailer?
I think it would be more effective. As it sits right now, if we were to take ours out or even borrow the fire departments, which is normally what we do, theirs is a lot better equipped. It's a little bigger, but we have to take a generator out with us. So we got to haul the trailer, then we have to haul a generator. Where if we get the RV style, we drive it there, park it, set it up. It's got a generator on board.
And having a vehicle to tow the trailer has become
Right.
available as well.
Right.
Makes sense. All right.
So, and like I said, I think that's not necessarily for just the police department, but what we could use it for in the community as a whole would be.
Yeah, and that's a
great.
good way to be thinking about it, because I mean, the occasional big disaster,
Right.
it's gonna make it hard to make really on the list when you might use it once or twice a year, but if you give us reasons you're gonna use it elsewhere, that's very helpful.
Right. And then typically what we've used it for in the past is when there's been issues with dispatch, moving them into the trailer. Because unfortunately, they've got all those hard copies of warrants that they have to access. So we've just parked it outside the police department. We've only had to do it once since we've moved them in there, twice. The last one was when we had somebody cut through the fiber going out there because and since then we've built in a redundancy. We now have a microwave antenna connection to the radio tower so that they can communicate, use those radios with, even if the internet goes out. But since we moved them out of the law enforcement complex there on North Boston, we haven't had the issues of pepper spray in the jails that have forced them out of there and things like that. So I think if we could just change that and maybe bump it up to 400,000, just to be realistic on it. And just, like I said, they can be dead last on the list. But as long as we have them on there for the grant funding, that's all we need those on there for.
And that's enough to equip it as well with the necessary equipment you need?
400,000 would get us a base model one. That would come with the facilities in there for the restrooms. Like I said, that's the biggest reason I think we need a lot of it out there.
So your tech, are you taking that with, or is it
We could
built in?
It would come with some, but it's not going to come with our radios and such like that. But then to outfit it afterwards, we could come up with the other funding for that. For the really big, nice ones, I believe San Juan County got one for their regional, and it was like 1.2 million.
Yeah.
And that was the big Class A motorhome size one. This would be a smaller one that would allow us to put a dispatcher in there, have a restroom, a table to sit and just have discussions, things like that, some minor equipment.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, mine's will be pretty quick, because like Chief, most of these are just on there to be listed for grants. And I don't particularly care where in the list they fall, except for this first one, who's Chris. So for the master drainage plan, we've been trying to get a master drainage plan for the city. We started working on a grant that FEMA used to offer, but they no longer offer it, and I'm not sure if they're going to be offering it again. We had to wait because we need the hazard mitigation plan, but we are almost done with that. So your master drainage plan is engineers come over and they look at the city as a whole and they offer you a master drainage plan to fix all your drainage problems. They list out small projects. So they may give us 100 different small projects to do that all work towards the same goal fixing your drainage. A lot of grants will not allow you to do drainage grants until you have this in place.
Is this the same as the stormwater master plan or is this separate?
So this will be, I think it's the same, isn't it?
It's just-
It's just, yes, this will be the,
Verbiage.
yes, this will just be any drainage it has in the city will be covered in this plan done by engineers.
What kind of things would they put on that? I mean,
So-
we don't have underground.
Well, so that's,
runoff, so
they'll look at it and say, hey, if you did underground drainage here, you did drainage ditches here, you did pension ponds here, this would fix your city as a whole. So that's what they look at, and then it allows us to break it down into smaller projects to get funding for. Because right now, what they're afraid is if they say, wait, great, let's do a retention pond here, that's actually counterintuitive for the city in a whole. So they won't give you the grants until you have a bird's eye view of the entire city and what you're looking for.
Gotcha.
With the recent floods, I'd like this place as high as possible, even in the top 3, because it's gonna give us 100 more projects we have to keep working through. But I'm also hoping that with the recent floods we've been having, that the legislation may be a little more sympathetic to a master drainage plan and choose to support it. Hobbs did one for about $700,000. I'm not sure what ours would cause. This is the only one I don't have an exact quote on, because it's gonna take quite a bit of engineering coming down to look at us specifically to give us that quote. But so this is one that's gonna be, fingers crossed, semi close to what we would be charged for it.
So that brings up a great question or at least maybe it's a stupid question. I shouldn't say.
That's stupid, I'm sure.
So you've got on here 375 and then 750,000 the next year. So where did that number come from if we don't have a bid or a quote or?
So I just did 700,000. It's just kind of a base bid for you guys, because that's what Hobbs did and that's what they were charged for theirs.
Looks at it and maybe they know that only costs 100,000. Are they thinking, hey, these idiots think they're gonna get bukus of money out of us? They don't. You know what I'm saying?
The 375,000 is the plan, so that's phase 1. And then the 750,000 would be the design.
So, but I'm asking, do we have a quote for that 375?
We're still trying to get a quote.
Make that up.
Yes.
But yeah, so right now I just used one that was similar to us in size and what they had cost, but we're still looking to try to get.
Okay, so you're basically just basing them on different projects you've found
Yeah.
that are similar to what you're.
Yeah, so when Hobbs did their master drainage project, it was $700,000.
Gotcha. And you're saying we're about half their size, so yeah.
So that's kind of what we're hoping for, but we're still trying to see if we can get someone to come give us a quote, but we
Gotcha.
know.
Okay, I just worried that, the people at state level see it and go, where are they coming up with these numbers?
Yeah. And when you say they did it for 700,000, that doesn't include the planning, engineers and all that.
So it does, that was their master drainage plan, to have the actual plan done, was about 700,000.
Now they're.
But that does not include any
Now they don't have
construction.
money to do the project.
Yeah, so then we have the projects, and then we can go ahead and
And
ask for
that's
those
where you
projects.
is dirt. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and our last master drainage plan was before RGH was built.
Okay. And does the drainage plan include things like the grass that's growing in our gutters? Is that part of drainage plan?
Not really, it'll tell us if
'Cause I know
if
my
those
street-
ditches are built deep enough to withstand it. And if they are, then the maintenance would be in optimal condition, those ditches can handle that drainage. So then it'd be up to the city to keep those ditches in optimal state. But they may go through and say, hey, these drainage ditches are flowing the wrong way, or you should have drainage ditches.
So it's a bigger picture.
It is, yeah,
Yes,
it's everything in the way the water moves, what you should be doing, and then you build off this for new construction. So new construction comes in and they wanna, let's say, drain here, you say, well, no, you should be draining here, this is how you're.
Gonna help you with new construction.
Yes, to make sure they stick to a overall drainage plan.
Right. Cause some haven't.
Correct. And if you watch, you can see that some water comes here and it comes down. And that doesn't help anything, so this would give you plans to make it one comprehensive drainage plan for the whole city. Which we very badly need. But do you have any questions about this? The other 4 I'm gonna just fly by because they're wherever you drop them. Ms. Chris?
I mean, you requested number 3. We've had a good argument or
Oh, yeah.
presentation for generator.
Well, just top 3. I think it would be, this is the only one that I think was really, really needed.
Is this for 27?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on 27.
yeah, so whatever you can go that you guys are good with, I'd love to see it as absolutely high as it can go.
Gotcha.
All right, so number two, and this is, I said, I just have it on here. If they choose to fund it, great. If you put it on number 300, absolutely fantastic. A remodel for the old facility. This is where we're turning where the dogs are now into a quarantine room and fixing the building because it wasn't set up for dogs. So us being there for a couple of years has been very hard on the building. And this would just return it to an optimal state. The parts the PD use or the fire uses back for their meeting room, and just the parts that we use to turn it into a good quarantine exam euthanasia room. And they quoted us about $80,000. We had a contractor come out. Miss Chris, next. Two pickups for the airport. The airport has its own ICIP project. However, they do not like pickups because they like construction projects. So we do need about $85,000 for pickups. All of our pickups are about 20 years old with over 200,000 miles. We do maintenance, and we occasionally actually tow jets and tow planes. So just kind of fun. Ms. Veronica, did you have a question?
No, I did have a comment for the remodel though.
Okay.
So that one where we have to put that back to, for the conference room for the fire station, that does, and I don't know if Chief's still in the room, but it does affect our ISO rating, I believe.
Yes.
So we probably need to talk through that too, because that, I know that you said just as long as it's on there somewhere, we still need to make sure that it's, top of the list, because that affects all of our citizens with their insurance.
Monica, can you hear me?
Yes.
So we have found other funding that is going to help with that. Liliana's been great, but this would allow us to apply for other grants, and we do appreciate Kelly bringing this forward in the event the money that we have available doesn't meet the need.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we stay on that.
100%. Ms. Chris, next one. And so, yeah, pickups, one full-sized, one smaller one. We're just
Where
gonna
you
keep.
buying pickups?
We just went and got quotes in Albuquerque, and since we're on state, we get them really cheap, and these are just bare models. They have AC and radios, and that's pretty much it. And Ms. Chris, next one.
You don't have to have a diesel like what?
No, so we are trying to when this diesel comes out, we won't bring another diesel in.
Okay.
This has been requested through the rescues. It would be a good idea, just a cargo van. If we do have large amount of animals that Albuquerque will intake from us, that we can drive those animals up versus euthanasia. If we keep our euthanasia numbers low, we qualify for a lot more grants and assistance. So this is what they were quoted from a place in Albuquerque, 62,000, but it's not a requirement, it's just a desirement. It's Chris.
Well, I'd say on that one, Kelly, to be thinking about other uses like we talked about with Chief Steel.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, if we're gonna spend money, I wanna see us utilize every inch of that, whatever it is.
Correct, yeah.
So be thinking about other ways if we move that somewhere that we could make
Yeah.
other use for it besides when you're hauling animals to one place.
Perfect. And then lastly, $10,000 just for security system for the new animal control building. They have seen an increase in abandoned animals tied outside, people breaking in for controlled medication, that kind of thing. So just to throw it on there, we did request a quote from Yucca just to put security cameras and a security system for the new building, and they said 10,000. That's it. Those were our 4 little projects and the one big one. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
I'll try to keep mine pretty quick as well. Thank you for letting me talk about the importance of our sirens. So for the last few years, probably about the last 4 or 5 years, it seems that our weather patterns have been getting much more severe. We've had, I think, the baseball size hail coming out from Elida. It's only a matter of time or a chance that it can come to us. Of course, we've had the tornadoes recently. Since I've worked with the city, we've had to activate the sirens twice since I've been here for 10 years. And the first time was last year, and then this year. So it seems to be progressively worse, that we might be having to do more siren activations. Sirens are a very important part of our entire mass notification system. And right now we have 6 sirens. We have The four loudest ones on each corner of Portales. They're right on the edges, so they're not gonna be right in the middle, so I'm not entirely certain if that's gonna be that the loudest ones have to be on the edge because of health concerns for neighborhoods. If it's too loud, it could damage people. We have two smaller ones within the base of the city. I would like to be able to install at least two more, possibly four more, depending on what the contractors recommend. A contractor will do a sound map, and they'll recommend the best for the area. And the ones that I would like to install are going to be predominantly in the neighborhoods, so they might not be as we might not be able to get the very expensive ones. We might have to do a couple per neighborhood as opposed to one very large one per neighborhood, depending on what the contractor said. These sirens, the actual hardware can cost up to $50,000 just for the hardware alone. That would be for the siren, the pole, and then we'd have to do installation for electrical. We'd have to do radio installations. And the installation crew, we cannot unfortunately hire a local. I like to hire local vendors as much as we can. We don't have the people locally who work on these sirens. These sirens are predominantly, the experts are in Tornado Alley. So we'd actually have to go through someone, the closest one, I think the last one we worked with was out in Arkansas. And that just coming down here cost extra money to get them to install these properly. Once they get installed, we can do the upkeep locally. Most of the time, sometimes we have to outreach that as well. The sirens themselves, the physical equipment is very, very hardy. They're obviously meant to withstand weather, but the internals of the circuitry, we sometimes occasionally have to get a brand new circuit board because they're not as hardy. The batteries are extremely expensive. So an entire project for possibly 2 to 4 sirens could get up to 100,000 to 150,000, depending on which sirens they're going to recommend. This is actually to be the first time I'll be working directly with this project, so I'll be working a lot more with Joe to find the exact ways of doing it properly. But like I said, between $100,000 and $150,000 potentially for 2 to 4 more sirens within the city. And we are working on a grant right now. I'm working with Johnny Montiel for the county. He is working on a grant to install more sirens in the county and to upgrade all the sirens in the county. That's including the Portales sirens. So once see how that possibly goes through, that might be able to feed into this project as well.
I was just gonna ask you that. It seems like FEMA or somebody would wanna help with these kind of deals. You know, we should be able to find grant money for some of these, but they probably need to be on the list.
There are grants out there. They, like with other grants, they're difficult to get a hold of. You have to go through a lot of processes to make certain a lot of boxes are checked. Currently, the grant that we're working on, that Johnny's working on, it requires the hazard mitigation plan, which will be completed by the end of the year. So that helps with that. And like I said, that should install more sirens in the county. It doesn't install sirens in the city, but it does help to upgrade the sirens in the city and all of them, which we can do remotely through other means beyond the dispatch center. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, so I don't know if we have anybody for finance department, city clerks.
Good morning. So, as the department head for city clerks, I have to be very honest. The city clerks don't normally have a lot of projects that would be put on the ICIP. I don't have anything specifically for the clerks right now. However, I'm also the department head for PATS, or Portales Area Transport, and municipal clerk, municipal courts. So there is something that should be on that list. I believe last year it was ranked number 24 on the top 25 list. And it was for a new vehicle for PATS. I'm going to vote or encourage you to move it further down the list. Mr. Chavez and his mechanics crew have examined, I believe, all of the PATS vehicles, of which there are 6 that are operative. One of which has been parked long-term simply because it's functional mechanically, it's the lift. And that's the part that actually has to be bungee corded together. But it's functional. The vehicle is mechanically functional. I have no plans to replace it right now. Mainly because it needs to be examined to see whether it would be cost prohibitive to go ahead and fix that list or eventually get a new vehicle. So we're much in the same boat as other people. It needs to be on the list somewhere so that later on when we apply for grants, because our grant funding comes almost entirely through NMDOT at this point. So we haven't really examined any other options for grant money. So we would only have to be on there if we needed to replace or seek grant money to replace a vehicle. So I'm open for any questions if you have them. Okay,
No questions.
very
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Human resources?
Good morning.
So God bless you.
Thank you.
The Human Resource Department at the city has been functioning well within the general ledger budget for the city. So at this time, there aren't any big projects that we need to have on the ICIP list. And that is all. Thank you.
Do we have anybody library? No. Okay, so infrastructure.
The main one we got is for the transfer station. That's what's tearing our garbage trucks up. We're using them for what it's not intended for. And that transfer station would really cut down on that.
Got some questions for you, Steve. If we have a transfer station, would we not have to have semis to actually transfer the garbage, or would that portion be?
We would still have to have that, but you won't have your garbage trucks making 3 loads to close a day.
But we're gonna need to buy semi.
Yes.
To do that,
Okay, and
as
then,
part of the project.
Process, yeah.
Okay.
so if we're having a hard time getting Class B drivers now, are we fully staffed now as far as drivers? And
We still need 2 more.
So we need 2 more drivers. I'm gonna push back that maybe just due to the economy, due to competition with the private sector, maybe we need to hold off on this. And I'm gonna compare it to the fire station on the north side of town. I'm not saying we don't need it, but with the current pay that we're paying firefighters, it's hard to recruit. I'm worried that this is going to be a drain on the finances long term. If we can't hire Class B drivers, I don't know that we're going to be able to afford Class A drivers.
Well, our Class B drivers can get Class A if they want to, but it's not required for them to get a Class A.
Well, we're probably going to have to pay more to compete with WDT and all these other companies in the area, Red Stag. I think the idea is good. I think it's going to be a financial drain on the city.
Would the semi part be something that could be farmed out like you're farming out right now, all in the ones from the convenience center
Yeah.
because of our truck being down?
We can.
Could it be farmed out?
Yep.
The semi part?
Mhm.
Just thinking.
So what if we take a look at this, Mr. Chavez? So I understand the initial concern. We need to keep in mind, we're talking about 2027, not 2026. You have a few more items on this list to cover. I understand the transfer station is your number one concern. We still have a few more days before we need to make some decisions and rack and stack. I haven't spent a lot of time with Steve and his team. So the next time that we talk, I think that we will have taken a look at a plan that includes a transfer station and other things that would come under the transfer station that may make it not only affordable, but possibly profitable. So I'll work with Steve, and the next time we talk, I'll outlay some details that'll be more down and at the granular level, which may make it make more sense. How does that sound?
Good.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean,
We
again,
were kind of the ones that brought it, so we're for it. It's just the more we think about how we're gonna man things, it kind of scares.
yeah, and
Sure.
the financial drain on
get
the
it.
city,
Yep.
I would at this point say maybe a raise for the firefighters is more important than a class A. You get paid more. I know there's a competition there a little bit, but to get the firefighters up, you know, you're more fully staffed than the firefighters, so. Not at the moment. You had a few retire, but overall,
So moving on.
yeah, there's a little competition there.
That is the never ending.
I like the idea. I
Pay them all the same.
just think for me to get on board, I need to know that it's not going to financially drain the city, and that's kind of where it's.
Yep, I've been making the rounds, and Mr. Chavez and his team are not in. I haven't closed that loop yet, so we'll spend some more time together. We'll look at some things, and there'll be more clarity on what is a comprehensive transfer station may look like, and then some basic rough order of magnitude finances that would follow that. And I think based on the stuff that I've been crunching at home, doesn't make me a wizard at all. But it looks like it's not only viable, but potentially profitable. So we'll take a look at that. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to make a small suggestion.
Okay.
And I hear both of your points. I very much do. And I know that you're both for the transfer station. And I see why, and what it is that you're getting at. Can we all come together on coming up with a solution for that? Like you're saying, can we farm it out? Can we look at owner operator? Can we look at the cost that it takes for, and this is just following Mr. Mitten, I think, but I don't actually know what road you're going down on your thing.
She's got a pun in there. Did you hear that pun?
Yeah, got it. Right.
Look at the cost of all of the maintenance that we're doing on the garbage trucks and the fact that we're having to replace the garbage trucks. And kind of, we wouldn't be having to do all of those things on top of everything else. So
Right.
what solution based could we do along with your concerns?
Joe,
Maybe
I would say time as well, like the time constraint, just to show how many hours we are saving per employee on if we were to have this.
Yes, ma'am, I agree with that.
Then you gotta include what we pay them every month.
Yeah.
You gotta include what we pay Coles every month for the tipping. fees.
Yeah, but you're still gonna pay that for the same one too.
Yeah, but not as much,
It's
cause you
cheaper by the same.
could hold more.
So
maybe you could get us a cost analysis of the fuel, the labor.
Let
He'll
us
do that.
let us crunch this a little bit, and we'll bring you back. Like I said,
Yeah.
same topic with more granularity. It'll make a little more sense, and then we'll rank order it from there.
one last question on the transfer. Do we have land somewhere we could do this, or are we
Yes.
gonna have to purchase some?
We got that.
We have one, okay.
Are you concerned at all about what you would have to pay to keep drivers for if we didn't do a hybrid? Is that a concern of yours?
We'll have to look into it some more.
Okay. I like the idea though. I'm gonna stay open-minded, so I'll look forward to the report from you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, that's about all we got.
Steve?
So wait. Are we gonna talk parks and all the other things that are on there or no?
Well, they're all further down the line, so we'll talk about.
Well,
If you
I
got
still want
something-
to, I still want to talk about how we make a plan to get these parks attached to the water system. And then my other bigger question above that is when are we gonna fix the water system?
That's
So.
all water questions.
Okay,
That's
so
all.
okay, I'll wait for water and then you come back.
Thank you. Do we have anybody for communications? No,
Was there anything on there for me?
I don't think so. I wasn't sure if they had anything new that they wanted to bring. No, okay. Okay, so now we are to public utilities. Ashley, do you have anything that you want to start with or that you can?
Like I was saying, Joe, I tried messaging you, but you didn't respond back. I didn't know what our top priorities were, and I tried to log into the system and it wouldn't even let me in. So I don't even know what our rankings are as far as where we're at with that.
Oh, okay.
Well, we have number one as the water storage system.
Yes, that one.
5 million for a couple of years, then 7 million and 16 million.
For the Lime Street, I think that one we requested for another 500,000. Is that correct, Joe?
Okay, I have it for that. Okay, so yes.
Okay.
500,000 capital outlay.
Yeah, so it's still the same thing. It's going to be the upgrade for the water storage system. So that's being Lime Street. Right now we're still in the plan and design process, but we will start construction with 2024's capital outlay money. But as far as anything for ICIP, I think we're just going to keep moving forward with the 500,000 and keep upgrading and updating the Lime Street as much as possible just to keep moving forward for the U project.
That's the number one on the list.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very much larger numbers than what you're saying on this piece of paper.
So that's because go ahead.
Yeah, that's just a intended amount cost for the whole project as based off of the PERs. So that's not where we're requesting that. We're only requesting the 500,000.
I'm lost. I'm sorry, but we're seeing huge numbers.
Yes, sir, you are. So some of this that comes with the water, these are the parts that I'm going to be honest, these are the parts that I'm trying to clean up because I am not fully positive as to where some of the numbers have come from the past. And we have worked on them, Ashley and I together have worked on them, and we are getting there. They have changed each year that we have worked on the ICIP because we are working on getting them where they are supposed to be. When you look at the phases, like what we've talked about, and then whenever you look at what has been funded and what they want to be funded, I don't understand where some of the numbers have come from. So cleaning it up has been a task.
So we talk water storage, we're talking about cleaning up Lime Street, making it top notch, and getting the new tank and pumps out at the well field. Yep.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we are. But I'm gonna go back to the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
Chief Kathy, not to dime you, put you on the spot and things. He and I had a conversation a few days ago. Talking about comprehensive plans and water storage and so on. So what you said, yes, that's true, but we also have an obligation to the city to go 20 years and beyond. So if we were to discuss on a macro level, water storage and water resiliency, which is really where we need to be in the future, water storage is much more than what we see right here. So water storage isn't going to go away for quite a while. We're going to continue to talk about water storage to mirror what FEMA tells us for a city our size should have on hand to store water. The water storage we're talking about today is really the tactical today argument to get our water plan, which we're required to have a 40-year comprehensive water plan, 40 years for water, 20 years for the city. All of those, including what you just asked, those answers are yes.
So we have a 40-year water master plan that we're required to do, and we're gonna start getting to work on that. That 40-year plan includes the FEMA answer as it stands right now for a city our size, and remind me roughly what 12 million gallons stored, not using, but stored in the event of that we need it. So that's one of the targets that we know we have to fight all the time to get toward. We're not gonna do that in 26. We're not gonna do that in 27, but we're gonna plan to do it on the out years. So the answer to your question is a yes. Lime Street and the supporting component items for Lime Street to make that happen is a yes to your question. But you're gonna continue to see these water storage items because we're gonna continue to fight for them and get them on there to meet that bigger, longer goal for the Portales resident who's 11 right now, but who's gonna live here when they're 30. We're gonna answer that question for them too.
Absolutely.
Okay, does that help?
Yeah, no, that's
Okay, cool.
And I'm fine with big numbers up there. It's just you see big numbers and then you hear
This is
Small
different than
numbers.
what we're seeing. So
Yes.
trying to,
Significance, and they will have better explanation a
Yeah.
little further down the line.
And there's no argument that some of this is muddled up. We have started handling business that somebody else handled and somebody else handled.
yes.
And sometimes the knowledge of that handling, it's definitely not wrong, but some of it was up here and some of it was on here. And we're gonna work together the next couple of weeks to bridge those gaps.
Yep.
Ashley's not wrong. Ashley's exactly right. Those numbers mean something to her and they're important, but we're gonna kind of translate that and make it make sense the next time we
Make
talk.
it more
about it.
sense.
Okay.
Cause I'm great with number one and number two. I still think number three needs to be the wastewater, but we'll deal with that in a minute, but. I don't care how much we ask for it, but I want it to be not one of those pie in the sky numbers so they don't even look at us.
Mhm.
Joe,
That's what Mike Miller talks about a lot, is if we keep asking for $100 million, they're not gonna fund it.
Understood. Understood. I'm sorry, Ms. Cordova, were you weighing in or was that Ashley?
oh no, that was Ashley. Sorry.
Oh, what do you
I
got?
was trying to raise my hand at the same time of looking. I couldn't find the button to do that. Was wastewater approved through ICIP already, or was that still one that was still being waited for?
In this context, as of right now,
Yes, because I'm not sure if the wastewater is approved through ICIP yet.
No, as of right now, like on our ICIP, we have it as wastewater reuse park improvement.
Okay.
Right,
Right. Okay.
because of our like water trust board and those types of things, because capital outlay has to be a last resort.
Right.
We do have to make sure that we're not going to be putting the wrong items at the top of the list.
Right. I just wanted to clarify that because I know what the infrastructure is different than the plant itself. So.
Mhm.
And I get that, but for me personally, you were talking earlier about what's gotta be done and what's a desire.
right?
This has to be done.
Requirements, desirements, absolutely.
This has to be done, and we've been, how many months now that water's not moving from the wastewater treatment? So, I mean, we need to find emergency money, something. This has gotta be important enough that somebody would jump on board as an emergency. That we
Okay.
don't have, we're just throwing water away. I don't know, it's very frustrating.
You're not wrong.
That's just sitting there doing nothing.
A lot of this is new to me, and I'm going somewhere with this. And starting to understand it. With that understanding is becoming vision, and that vision is going to come back to you on what we can do. And we know that water's on the top of my list. You all gave me the marching orders. You gave me, we want you to do this. That's there. We're getting after it. The first phase of this for me and the rest of the team is one, learn each other, but two, I had to learn about the water, and we come up with what we can do with what we have. News to me, and this probably isn't the right forum, but it's okay. It's an adequate forum. Even if we were doing the stuff we're supposed to be doing with the effluent, we'd only use 6% of it.
Right.
So then we have to come up with a viable thing. With water being such a valuable commodity here that's almost irreplaceable, what do we do with that 94% that makes sense? Playas, regenerate the aquifer, all of these are things that go. Now it's not going to get after what you're saying as far as the emergency status, because emergencies are the now. You're not wrong. We need to figure this out. But where that effluent goes, effluent with an E, where the effluent goes, so that we don't waste it, whether it goes back in the aquifer and we start gentrifying the aquifer, Or we turn it into good water that we can do something with? Or we simply store it and we deal with it later because it's part of the FEMA plan? We've got to figure that out. But you're also right. We have to figure out the now. And we're going to get after that. And whatever legal things or water treatment things need to be done, we're going to fight for that one on the top of our list. And we're going to start getting after.
Great.
Okay.
And what I heard from you was that this is not, till we do some of that, this is not an ICLP issue. Because we can't go after capital until we've exhausted those.
Until we've
options.
exhausted.
So that's what we're gonna work on now, is exhausting every option.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And one of,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
one of
I'm
our,
excited.
one of our big reasons for putting stormwater master plan as number 3 instead of like the wastewater is because that is actually gonna help us to come up with the, what do we do with it? Because whenever we do have projects, we need all of our engineers, all of our vendors, all of our people to have the same idea and the same direction, so that we're not gonna be redoing what another had an idea over here, another had another idea over here.
right.
So that was why we put that as number 3, because that's gonna help us with our direction. That's gonna help us to have just a combined, everybody's on the same page type of thing. And it's going to help with the wastewater, in my opinion, and from what I'm understanding with the engineers as well.
So you're saying the scope of the, is because it says stormwater, so I'm trying to understand. Stormwater and wastewater, you're saying it's all,
Well, stormwater's gonna turn into wastewater anyway when it gets to the plant, right? I mean,
it doesn't,
On the master
Doesn't-
plan of water et al., yes. But as Kelly brought up so one of the water that we're leaving out right now is the master drainage plan. It was the master drainage plan, right? So master drainage, regular drainage, and then stormwater drainage, I think is stormwater's under the master plan because that surges with the seasons and so on. And the 3 of the things have to come in together on the bigger plan. Now I'm saying plan over and over, which could sound like gobbledygook, but we're almost coming in the middle of our own argument. We have to make sure that Portales comprehensive plan is in place and it addresses the things mandated by the state and the federal government. We got to get that in place first. We know it's there. You signed it in 2023. Our job is to go back and review it annually and update it every 5 years. All of those rough order of magnitude key components have to be addressed. Each one of the things that we come up with here and the citizenry comes up with in the city, they fall under there as well. And we have to put them in the right slots. Transportation, roads, etc., all in the right places, because these are driving our requirements to meet these mandates. And then we get down at the tactical level, the granular level on the statements of work to meet those things, and they all come together. Nothing's broken down. It's just got a little fuzzy in between some of these as I flip the things. We're going to unfuzzy this.
okay.
We're going to make it make sense. Ashley's numbers are correct numbers. But we're going to tie them into the other numbers that make those numbers make sense. So we have the information, we have the stuff, we have the drivers, we have the plans. We're just going to dust them off and make them make sense, because if somebody wasn't keeping on top of these all the time, even though they're there and doing a little plan maintenance, we lose sight and vision. Did I hear a comment from the web? No, we're okay. So we're going to bring this to you shortly. We have a few more meetings between now and the execution date. And we'll get after these in short order and make sure they make sense, to include a concept or concepts for a transfer station for refuse and so on.
Okay.
Okay? We doing okay? Is it my turn?
Yep.
I think it is. I don't have as much to say. This is a great start. We're not making decisions today. We're informing today. This is a great start to go back with what Ms. McVeigh says. She said, here is the ICIP. Here's what it means. And here's what we need to do with it and so on. That's what we're doing. And we're taking an objective look at some of the things that will come up so that we start to create the mental framework for prioritization, because it said, when it says 1, 2, 3, and 4 here at the directorate level, we have to do that at the city level as well. And we have to remind ourselves that being number 16 doesn't mean you're low priority. It means it's high priority to you. It's just where we have to fit it with the city. But when funding comes, that number 16 could be number one because it only comes in a certain amount of funding and so on. And we can't break these projects apart like we talked about. We do some A&E in some of them and we get them shovel ready, and that's our responsibility and our due diligence, and we're going to get that done. But we rank order these things as a city to make sure we meet the requirement when that money flows, and it will. And the better we get at this, the more money will flow. This is standard business across the country. This is not a Portales thing. This is an everybody thing. And so we're going to get after it the way we have been. And we're going to get to know each other a little bit better. And we're going to get a little bit better and smoother at doing this one, but articulating what our numbers and our comments and things like that mean. Okay. No, we talked about, we all did the information on what it is. There's power in synergy. So as a team, we're going to know what each other's requirements are. Because I would argue that as a team in City Hall and this constituency and the council, having the common vision helps us create synergy and power and get things done. It's a little lonely sometimes to be a director in charge of my own directorate and feel like I'm the only one that understands my problems. But when we do these types of things and we share them together and we come together as a working group and work, get after these, two minds can think of more objective solutions than one can. And that's what we're going to do going forward on these things. And we're going to bring you, like I said, more information, more granularity in things that make sense now to an individual. They're going to make sense to a group. Okay. And then, just my notes down here is working within City Hall to get this done. But as the city manager, I'm subject to your questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Good right now.
Team? That's all I have. Thank you.
Did want to ask, maybe somebody could help me understand it's not year one, it's not necessarily year two, but the behavioral health facility.
Yeah, it's number 12 on next year.
Okay.
And that was my question too. What's our commitment to this? What's our,
And are we talking about the regional one?
the regional behavior?
Okay,
That's gonna be.
you want to answer that one? Or you want me to answer it? Because I got it, I think.
Oh, okay.
Take a stab.
I have an explanation, but if you want, do you want to?
Let me give it a try. Tell me how I do, and
Go ahead.
let's see how it goes from there. So there's a reimbursable grant, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to the regional behavioral health center up north. Is that north?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we, by design, we have a portion of the contribution to put towards that. So X amount of money is what it's going to take to man, train, and equip. From a region, we have about a $52,000 bill. Not us, but from the region.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been upfront, not necessarily decided, but proposed that each of the subsections of the region will be responsible for their element of that $52,000 contribution. So Curry County will pay their proportion based on population. Roosevelt County, as a county entity, not including us, would pay theirs, and we would pay based on population ours. And I think there's about 7 to 10 subcomponents in there, so I don't know what we're on the hook for, but I think it's somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000, our contribution to the behavioral health center.
So that's
pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I knew about it. Okay. But then I look at an ICIP and I see 500,000, 250,000, a million, 700,000, 30 million.
Okay.
That's concerning.
That's when I go, wait a minute.
No, that's not.
What are we signing up for?
Okay. What is the last?
Boroughs.
Gross. Thank you.
It's the bottom of the first page for 27.
Okay.
Part of
Those-
what this helps, if I may, sir,
Of course.
is multiple entities having it on their ICIP helps us get state funding for the facility as a whole. If all of the neighboring entities that are a part of it have it on our ICIP, it bumps it up on the state legislator's priority list and others to help get that state funding for that entire project.
So this line item is basically the whole project, not our part.
I believe that's the whole project, yes.
Okay, that's helpful. You know,
Because when I see
that freaked me out.
whenever I see that, I see we could go fix a lot of roads, or we could build 3 transfer stations with that, so.
Yeah, and well, not only that, let me add one more piece, if I'm not mistaken. Did everybody say their piece? I step in on anybody?
Well, I wanted to say that Clovis has theirs as 42,618,840. And let's see, the consortium members are Curry, DeBaca, Quay, Roosevelt, Union, Portales, Fort Sumner, and Quay. And they all have this project on their ICIP. We all. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And then this is a contractor operated facility that believes, based on their business model and them being the largest business doing this in the country, that they are profitable and solvent, so they will be able to take care of their own bills. And if there's ever a gap, our contribution is proportionate based on those customers. But not only that, we really don't, the way the proposal is written is this will come from opium money.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not what's the title of that? The opium money, the set aside. We really can't touch that for many reasons, but this is a reason we can use it. So that money will continue to bank. Liliana briefed you about that. I shouldn't have used the word bank. That money will continue to build. She's established an account for that. This is now an interest-bearing account. There's not a bunch of things we can spend that money on. And this is one of the ones we can, but we're not obligated unless that contractor is upside down in any specific year, which they firmly believe, based on all their other ones that they do, that they are going to be profitable because the people that they generally intake have some type of insurance. And so they've been very good at billing people via insurance, and they do okay. So our contribution is contingent upon them being upside down. If it's upside down, we're going to spend money from our opium money account that Liliana set up. So for all intents and purposes, unless something is crazy, we should probably never feel any sting of helping out with this. That's my understanding.
That's helpful.
Thank you.
And then this first part is just the first phase of that.
Yeah.
The emergency triage center. And eventually there will be inpatient facilities built.
Yeah.
On the same
It'll take a
property and
long
everything else. So it's gonna be years in the works, but to get to where it's actually gonna be able to meet the true needs of the area.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
Yes, very good.
It's just called the opioid settlement funds. Yeah, I don't know what the budget is called. But yes.
Well, Joe's talking about the fund.
Right.
Yes, the funds are the opioid.
I believe that Pfizer lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the one for fentanyl. It might be the Pfizer lawsuit, but there's another one coming for fentanyl.
There's many of them.
Look forward to it. So it's your turn.
Okay, so from where we're at today, we're gonna meet again on the 28th.
Yes.
Are you gonna what's gonna change between now and the 28th, except for some of that unfuzzying you were mentioning? But are we gonna change the list
Yes.
because of things that were said today, or?
Yes.
Okay,
And then you'll
and then
send
we're
that
gonna
to us.
talk about it again. Can you send it a few days ahead of time? Because once
Yes, I
again, it's very difficult to look at these big, long things when you're running a
How?
business to try to have time to stop and look at that, so.
How long? A week ahead?
Oh, that's
Okay.
plenty. I mean, even 2 or 3 days on something that we've already been discussing. You know, the first time we got this, we hadn't talked about it. We were like, whoa.
Yes.
So now I kind of have a clue what we're doing. I have a much better picture, thank you, for today than I've had since I've been here. But ICIP. So fabulous. Kudos to all of them for
Whatever
helping
time,
clear this fog in my head. So.
and whatever timelines we pick, we're gonna do some backwards planning and ensure that we have enough time to do what we need to do by open meetings et cetera, giving you enough time to study packets. Yeah. We will give you a couple of courses of action of collectively reviewed recommendations for rank ordering these projects.
Super.
And then we'll bring them to you and dig back in if we need to on certain items, but if not, we'll let those items go.
Great.
For your review and acceptance or change of the rank order suggestions.
Perfect.
Are you still there?
Yes, and I just wanted to add, so that, just for my clarification and how we've done it in the past. So those recommendations will then go to council. We have the open meeting, what is it, the open session, open meeting for public input. Then we close that, and then the council will then as a whole decide on the final ranking order. So at council, this may still change that night, because I've seen it change in the
Right.
past to where we can rank things a little bit higher or a little bit lower.
You bet.
Yes,
That's-
ma'am. And then we will have the final submission on October 3rd.
Yes. And I just wanted to reiterate, good job. Whenever we have this and we have it presented to us, it gives us a little bit more clear view of what our projects actually are, and the explanation, especially the behavioral health facility, it makes it a little bit easier to support. So good job to everybody that had input today and did their homework. So appreciate it.
I do have one question. Do the department heads feel that they want to come to the following meetings? Or just as needed? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let us do some work with you at City Hall and we'll answer that question and then we'll let you know what we push from there. Okay?
Okay.
And I would just want to say in one final comment, every one of these things you ask for are, we agree. You know, I'd love to have 5 more, 6 more sirens around town. I get it, you know. And it's hard because it's our job to finally say, no, this is it. But everybody did a great job. Everybody's was understandable and important. And we understand that. So I don't know. It's the hardest part of this job is trying to, you know,
Keep it fair and equitable.
exactly, and do what we think is most important. So,
Yes, absolutely. That's the most, I mean, that's what you get paid to do. That's what we get paid to do. So appreciate your comments on that one. And we've got some work to do regarding this and other things, and subject to any closing comments. Joe, it's your floor. Jade is your meeting. So
I just wanted to tell everybody, thank you. Thank you very much for showing and for presenting and all of you to be here. So thank you for the support.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
guys.
thanks.